Every DBA I've ever met has their own customized list of counters that they like to examine within their various servers. PowerShell makes it extremely easy to get to that counter information using the get-counter commandlet. First, we're going to take a look and see what counters are available to us. We're going to pass in the name of a computer, and in this case, I'm getting the computer from the $env built-in variable. It has several properties, and one of those is computer name. I then need to tell getCounter I want to get a listing of the various counters, and I want that listing set to begin with MS-SQL, and then it has the name of my instance, $SQL 2012. Whatever the name of your instance is what you would put there, and of course the asterisk acts like a wildcard. So when I run this, and I'm going to take the output and pipe it through a for each and get the table. And there we go. I have got a ton of counters here. So let's narrow that list down a little bit. I'm just going to get the counters that are associated with the buffer manager. And that's a little smaller list to work with. Now, if I want to see a whole bunch of the counters and I just want a real easy way to go find those, I can use the performance monitor, or as pretty much everybody calls it, perfmon. So I'm going to open it up and type in perfmon. And here we go. Now all I have to do is come here to the performance monitor, and I can come up here and click on the plus or add counter. And here we go. I've got a list of all the various counters that are available. And if I want to find the ones for SQL Server, I can come up here to my instance name. And here's the ones for SQL Server right here. And you can see there's a whole bunch of groups of them. Let's take a look at that buffer. Here we go. There's the buffer manager. And there's the various counters that are available inside the buffer manager. If I scroll up a little bit, you're going to see my 2008 R2 instance and the counters that are associated with it. It provides an easy way to see what counters are available, and you can even add them to the performance monitor just to ensure that this is indeed bringing you back the information you want to see. So I'm just going to hit cancel and cancel to close out perfmon. And let's scroll down here. And now what we're going to do is actually get the counters. The first thing you want to do is get a listing of all the counters you want to track. And this is the part where, as I said, pretty much every DBA I know has got his own customized list, and you can just put it in here. For this little demo, I'm just doing 3 counters. So I'm going to run this just to load up the variable. And then I'm going to come down here, and I'm going to call getCounter. And since this takes just a second, I'm going to go ahead and run this while I explain it. The first parameter I pass into getCounter is the sample interval. How often do I want you to take a snapshot of these counters? And that's going to be every 5 seconds. That's measured in terms of seconds. And then the second thing I need to tell it is, well, how many times do I want you to go get those counters? And that's what max samples is. So every 5 seconds for 3 times, it's going to grab the counters. And using the -counter parameter, I'm going to tell it which counters to go grab. In this case, it's the ones inside the counter list variable. Now, once I have those, I'm going to go through a little for each loop, and for each counter that I have in my results set, I'm going to add it to a little data table, and then I can then put that out through format table. So when I run this, down here you're going to see my counters. Now there's not much action going on my server right now, so these counters aren't telling us a whole lot, but you could take this information, snapshot it, and do all kinds of things with it. For example, you could filter the results, and if a counter exceeds some boundary that you want it, you could have yourself notified with an email. You could store these counters over time and maybe put it into a SQL Server table and then do queries off of it so that you can compare the results from today versus yesterday versus a month ago. The sky's the limit, whatever you want to do with it. And this is how you get that critical information, is by using getCounter.